Hey, hope you're doing well. Wouldn't you like to hit the ball harder, more confidently, more competitively, and beat players that you're currently losing to because you just don't have the offense, you don't have the weapons? Well, that's true of pretty much everybody. But what's interesting to me is a lot of players just put an artificial low ceiling over themselves in terms of how fast they're able to swing. I want to share with you an example of a student I just worked with where that was the case. I want to kind of describe it for you a little bit, let you know the process we went through. It's a very interesting case study for me. So this just a little bit of context. This player is currently winning quite a bit at 3-0, wants to be a winning player at 3-5, and then wants to move on and she's investing a huge amount of time and effort over the next 12 months and wants to be as good of a tennis player as possible. And we're shooting for 4-0, and I think that's possible for her with the athletic ability she has. But as of right now, she's mostly playing 3-0, okay, for context. So here's a point, an evaluation point that she and I played together early on, like when we first went out to the courts and I'm looking at her strokes and we're playing some points together so I can see how she's doing. So just watch her swing tempo and swing speed. Don't necessarily watch like where the ball is going or how fast it's traveling, but that's part of it. But just watch her play this point, and specifically watch her racket speed and her swings, like the length of the swings, speed of the swings, and this looks like pretty standard, typical, 3-0 tennis. Maybe with a couple swings here and there where she finishes pretty well. But other ones, like it's kind of a fake follow through. She's not really finishing the swing like that last one. It was kind of careful and tentative. That one careful and tentative. And that one was pretty smooth. I actually kind of swung through on that one. But this is kind of where we started. And then after doing some evaluation, looking at her mechanics, what I was really fascinated by was how good of an athlete she was and how well she moved her body. And yet she chose to play at that tempo with me. And another interesting kind of tidbit was she told me that I'm super competitive. I hate to lose. And yet, like, she didn't win any of the games. We played, I think, 5 or 6 service games together. She didn't win any of them, which is normal when I do evaluation like points. And I'm just kind of matching her tempo and pace. But she never upped her speed. She never tried to challenge me or push me. She just hit normal, like 3-0 shots back to me, point after point, game after game. So we went out and I challenged her to hit the ball as hard as she could. Because I was just curious, where on the relative scale of her output athletically and like intensity wise was she when she played against me? So watch this. This is just the raw footage of me asking her to hit at a 10 out of 10, like hold nothing back, just hit the ball as hard as you physically can. Now watch the contrast and watch the difference here with how she's swinging. And not necessarily like where the ball goes or if she makes it. Like obviously, swinging at a 10 out of 10, you're gonna miss some shots like anybody is. But she also makes some of them. And I want you to look at how confident and smooth these swings look. Okay, so check this out. I think you can hit harder than that. Good. Now don't let up. Don't let up. Good.
Look at how
5
good
more of
that
those.
swing looks.
Full speed. You let up.
And so
on
she's
that one. That was not
absolutely
as fast as
crushing
what
these
before.
balls compared to before.
Good. That was harder again. Don't let up. Good. 2 more of those.
Great looking swing.
Do not slow down. Good. Again.
That's a big
Do
shot.
not slow down. Wow, awesome.
Huge. So what level does that look like? Watch these last 2 shots again. Like just ballpark in your head. And by the way, if you're not used to watching video, on the internet, then this probably doesn't look that high level to you. I would encourage you to record yourself, okay? And watch yourself, because guess what? We all hit the ball way slower than we think we do, okay? So assuming like you're experienced enough and you've done enough recording to understand, watch the speed of these swings.
Do not slow down. Good. Again.
You look super
not
athletic,
slow down.
super confident. To me,
Wow, awesome.
and what I told her in the moment was those last 2 shots, like those are 4 or 5 quality shots. Now, the difference is a 4 or 5 player
does that very routinely. And that's kind of like a normal shot for a 4-5 player. So for her, as a current 3-0 competitor, the fact that she can even hit a 4-5 quality shot, even if it's just a routine kind of normal 4-5 quality shot, is incredible. So my question to her was, so why didn't you just swing faster? Like when you and I played points, why did you swing so slow? If you knew I was the better player on paper, like I'm supposed to be stronger. I'm the coach. I'm supposed to be helping her out. Why not just swing faster? And it's not like it was a real match that like counted for anything. And I think that's kind of the core question. Like she on paper understands she has to learn how to hit the ball harder. But here's the thing. Remember I told you she hates to lose. So there's this friction, there's this tug of war that takes place inside of all of us that are very competitive and somewhat athletic. And I personally, like this student was very athletic, like great athletes, relatively new. She's only been playing tennis seriously for just a couple years, like 2 years, 3 years. So she has this like tug of war happening inside of herself where she badly wants to win. And so she doesn't want to beat herself. And so she's being careful. And yet she has these athletic tools that she's not even close to scratching the surface of like utilizing. And what's fascinating about that is this type of student kind of just has to decide. So what we did, the progressions that we ran through, I'm not going to go through all of it here, but I'll probably do a pretty comprehensive lesson on the Essential Tennis YouTube channel at some point. But so this was 10 out of 10. We calculated, rough estimate, that when she was playing points against me, the evaluation points, she was swinging at like a 3 out of 10. And what we settled on, and we did some training, and I described this in my book, by the way, this process. What we did was we did some ramping up and down. We started at 10. We went back to like a 5 again, and then we went up to a 6, and then a 7, and then an 8. Just to kind of calibrate her intensity and her effort and her speed to just kind of learn for herself, like, what the heck speed am I even swinging at? Like she had no real awareness. She knew she needed to swing faster, but that was kind of the extent of her awareness and her knowledge and her understanding. So what we settled on was a 6 out of 10, which is about double the speed that she was swinging at when she played points against me originally. She was about at a 3 out of 10, and we figured out that she can make a lot of shots at a 6, but it's dramatically more confident and dramatically more competitive than what she was doing before. So instead, so here's the key. Here's kind of the like big takeaway. Two big takeaways. Number one, figure out for yourself what is the answer to the question, why don't I swing faster? For her, she hates to lose. And so she was playing it safe and she was being careful because she didn't want to beat herself. Okay. Then step 2 is start to build an awareness of your relative effort and intensity. Pick a number and then do not deviate from that number. So we trained at a 6 for a while without giving her the option of taking her foot off the gas. And she made mistakes, but when she hit the net or when she hit long, instead of being more careful and going back to a 3 out of 10, I gave her other specific dials to turn, other adjustments, and really all we focused on was the angle of the racket face. If you miss long, you are not allowed to go slower. Instead, we're going to close the angle of the racket face a little bit. And if you hit the net, we're not going to swing slower. We're going to open the racket face a little bit. And that's it. And I'm telling you, with just that focus and with training and repetition, being very diligent and very disciplined by her at home, she can easily dominate at 3-5 without any new mechanical habits. Now, that's not true. I'm not saying like that it's necessarily true for you. You have to know where your kinetic chain, like where your mechanics, like the quality of your movements. But for many players, it's not their technique that's holding them back. It's their belief, it's their trust, it's their awareness of their intensity. And many of you watching this, that's going to be the case. And if you can copy, generally the process I just laid out, you can see really big improvements very, very quickly. That's what I'm hoping for this student, and that's what I'm hoping for you too. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.